They're trying to counter out the gyrocopter. Scared of his
coming. You know what's coming? Vici Gaming picking AA. Yeah, it's coming. I mean, most likely going to be banned though.
Yeah.
But
I think they will.
It was a fine try.
I think it's a very nice combo if they can get it. But as you said, whenever you have Ancient Apparition in any game, it just telegraphs to you that Spectre is incoming. And you never want to pick Spectre early, so you can't really get around that.
Lane as well. Rubik AA plus any hero is such a scary lane to fight.
It is. The damage is high.
Right? Kill him.
This is very reminiscent of the Cloud9 game. They actually have Shadow Fiend and Gyrocopter against the AA.
Indeed, it's actually the same heroes completely.
The only time that Spectre has been seen at TI5 was, of course, with Hell.
And Dark Tier A is also a very, very strong combo because like A will shoot his ulti first and then Dark Tier will just jump at the very right moment. It's very easy. It's a very easy combo to land.
Yeah, when like the hard part about that combination is not executing it, it's getting the farm on Spectre so that her ulti actually does something. Early on it can deal some damage. Desolate does deal tremendous damage if you get to high attack, but it's just about getting that radiance.
We haven't seen the Mask of Madness Spectre at all. I mean, we haven't seen Spectre so much, so I guess that's why, but it's been a trend at some point, at least in Europe.
6.83.
We haven't seen Mask of Madness.
Mask of Madness got nerfed, and after that, I don't think anyone really stuck on the Spectre train.
There was some build like this after that, even.
Oh, they actually...
Especially for Spectre.
I think S4 was pubbing that a lot. He was playing that.
They actually took up their bench.
It's next to Juggernaut. Wow.
They were ready for this. I mean, they were probably like, we're not getting Spectre, so that's the other option, and that's why they picked Phantom Lancer.
So they want to lock down and kill the Gyrocopter, I feel like. If they get... Yeah.
They have such a strong lane. I was just wanted, like, they could even go aggressive. Like, their lane is so strong. Rubik APL.
Yeah, I actually think that's actually a really good idea. If you put the Darkseid on a 1v1 matchup versus the Tusk, he's going to have a good time, and your tri-lane will actually beat their tri-lane because they have a melee support.
The last time they said that with the Razor died, so...
Oh, but the Visage is back. Also a strong tri-laner.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll get your thoughts after the match as we conclude the lower bracket with our final game of the day. Winner takes it all. It's Vici Gaming versus LGD. Here's your commentary team of Blitz and LD.
Thank you very much, Paul. Blitz, it's finally arrived. Deciding Game 3 winner is guaranteed top 3, and they go into tomorrow with evil geniuses waiting in the lower bracket finals.
Not much of a consolation prize.
But they've got a tough match ahead of them, whoever goes on to win this. And on each team, you've got one former TI champion looking to become one of the first players to repeat. Old teammates, Xiao Wei and Hao. Only one of them can survive. Looking at the draft here, do you favor either team? What are your thoughts on the compositions?
I mean, when it comes to LGD's lineup, like you said, it's a little bit weak when they're all going to pick up their BKBs, and it goes ultra late. I think it was actually you that brought it up where, well, it's definitely you that brought it up where the Ancient Apparition, if you hit the Ice Blast, then things like the Satanic, the Mech, whatever, even with the BKB, the Lina can just pretty much one-shot you with the Aghanims. You're guaranteed dead after that. And that pretty much takes care of one core. And the Phantom Lancer, you just want the hardest hitting late game hero that you can possibly pick up in conjunction with that combination. Like with that AA, you want to extend the game for as long as you possibly can. So that means LGD, they have to get aggressive in the laning phase. Yao pretty much has to do what he did in that last game. And
do you see him as able to do it this time around? It felt like it was almost entirely a Hao misplay that gives him that first blood in the last game and gave him a lot of momentum. Barring a misplay, do you see Yao getting much out of this off lane?
I don't think so. I think the last game was really fortuitous. He got 4 creeps into the side block, right? And he was able to kill Hao with the help of that, just because the creep wave was so close to the tower, and it happened to be when the support was pulling. You'll almost never see a combination of all 3 of those happening at once. And I think it was, like you said, Hao's misplay, but this time he's playing Phantom Lancer, and Doppelganger is just one of the best abilities of being able to get away.
It feels like PL is just much more of a Hao hero than Razor is likely to be, because you can just get away with more. We've seen it from Aggressive a lot in the tournament. It just feels like it's more well-suited for his play style.
Yeah, it really just feels like he likes to play that flashy role where he can make the big play abilities happen, and
he likes to dive.
Yeah,
this guy loves to dive.
He's an aggressive player.
All right, so the lanes will get underway here. We did see early on, Vici Gaming got into the enemy jungle. They dropped down an Observer and a Sentry, almost guaranteeing this camp will stay blocked. Currently 1 Sentry Ward on MMY and 1 on Maybe, so they're reserving it here for the mid lane, and it may force this support MMY Visage to buy extra sentries in order to get the camp unblocked. Should allow for a little more room for Ice here bottom. He'll be on the Dark Seer and on the mid lane. Super getting his extra salve, and he'll be going blow for blow with the Shadow Fiend to start things off.
Yeah, and Super in this lane, he should do okay. Lina against the Shadow Fiend, eventually the Shadow Fiend pulls ahead by virtue of being able to do the stacks. But the key here is that Super shouldn't get over-aggressive and try to look for too much. Maybe he's going to win this lane when it comes to flat CS.
Bottom lane, there is a Shao 8 fissure block, potentially. Ice has to be careful, he gets caught into a rocket barrage. Where is he going to go? He doesn't have Surge yet. This is the first blood for LGD, and it goes the way of MMY. That's the boots, and that is soon gold for the Sentries if he wants to go back for them. Just didn't have the level 2 yet. LGD really showing how to take care of this Darkseer early.
It just feels like Shao 8's a monster when it comes to that Earthshaker. Fissure block after fissure block. He was godly in that first game. Only level 4 at something like 12 minutes, but still every single fissure he follows up with.
How's our mid lane doing here? Still pretty early, maybe. Chewing through a single pool tango. He's still got a Salve, Super as well. Is this just a farming lane? Do you see much kill potential for either team?
I think Super might get over-aggressive and could die, but other than that, it should just be trade back and forth farm. And
it's Shao 8 again, Blitz. You called it, and he's done it another time. The director, a flawless script being executed thus far. 2 ganks, 0 smokes used, and 2 kills through it.
I love that nickname every single time you say it.
It's so fitting. It used to actually be a bad nickname where, you know, in some ways where the script was that his teams would do more poorly early than they should, just so that the comeback will be more impressive and, you know, really be a dramatic spectacle. But well, this LGD, they're doing well early.
Yeah, and Shao 8, this roaming, I mean, it's so hard for Ice to even move forward. He's just going to get the regen. That stun was just meant to bother him. And that gank in the mid lane, this is already a lane that Shadow Fiend should win when it comes to flat CS. He has the jungle available to him, and now Super's going to feel even more pressure to accomplish more in this lane.
And he's Radiant as well. And it's so tough to get in towards these camps. And Vici Gaming, for now, they are focusing on their Trilights. Let's talk a little bit about this. Where Yao, only level 1. He's been shut down quite a bit as well in terms of experience. They've already got 2 on Sylar, or sorry, not on Sylar, on Fenrir here. FY has the boots up as well. This is a very scary mid to late game support duo for Vici.
Yeah, and FI, we've seen what he can do with the Rubik, and there are plenty of abilities for him to steal, and so they're going to try to prioritize his level 6 as much as possible. Just get the A to pull repeatedly, get levels wherever he can, and then FY can pretty much just split experience with this Phantom Lancer. And you can get away with that because the Tusk is barely being able to pressure Hao, and he's mainly just using his abilities to get farm. It's never a good sign, and meanwhile at bottom, Ice, he picks up that crucial level 2 for the level 2 Ion Shell, and he's getting really close to his Soul Ring. So he can just go to the jungle when he wants at that point.
Yeah, they've got 1 medium camp stacked up here, none of the big camps and not the small camp, so not the largest amount of jungle stacking as of yet. Doesn't want to leave this bottom lane quite already. He's still sticking around, trying to push out the waves. Level 3 now, but MMY with boots is just flapping his way forward and warning Ice that this lane he's no longer welcome here.
I mean, still, it's only a level 3 Sylar and a level 3 Ice. He's managing to keep up in levels, and this smoke's going to mean a lot right now to Yao because he hasn't had the best time at top, and it has to succeed as the Shadow Fiend's going to start running forward right now.
Tank number 3, and it looks like kill number 3. The Fissure Snowball combo, nowhere to go. Super is being feasted upon now in the mid lane, and maybe having one of the most explosive starts you could ever ask for a Shadow Fiend. They're also making a slight go on bottom, but Ice, there's nothing to stun him here. So he's able to back off and continues to put pressure on the lane. Rough going for the Lina early. Doesn't even have her boots yet.
Yeah, and Chao, he's going to pick up the DD rune in front of FY, but FY is going to camp in this mid lane behind the Lina. She's not level 6 yet, so
he's
the
coming
Shadow
in again.
Yeah, this is really rough right now because FY doesn't want to stick here. They're going to get the ward down at the same time. They're going to see that the Rubik is just camping. So what maybe he can do is just force out the lane and then go to the jungle at his own leisure. He doesn't actually have to contest this lane anymore. He's gotten the CS that he wants. He has the levels that he wants. His CS is actually a little bit poor considering the type of start that he's had, but he still has the jungle to fall back on.
Yeah, thanks to the kills as well. Maybe is the leader here in terms of net worth. And as you suggested, he will go back to the jungle. Now we're going to rotate back onto mid, so he'll just look to maximize his own personal economy. And Vici still not showing any signs of early pressure. These are pretty level-dependent support splits, the Rubik and Ancient Apparition. No smokes picked up as of yet. We used to see a lot more early pressure, but with this Ancient Apparition duo, it doesn't seem like they want to get as aggressive early on.
I mean, this is one of the more passive support duos, like you said. The Ancient Apparition, if there's a hero that relies on being level 6, it's it. He doesn't even go for the Chilling Touch build where you can go for the early engagements. Fenrir's pretty much all in for the late game already.
Yeah, what do you make of this particular skill build? Is this just to maximize like the spell damage you can bring to bear for your team?
Yeah, definitely. If he TPs in Ice Vortex, the slow is really good. I mean, look at the rest of his team. It's almost all magic damage. The only physical damage that you're going to see is when the Lina hits like level 25 and finally has 6 slots, and the Phantom Lancer's in a similar position. A lot of these heroes just rely on that mobility and the ability to just spam out repeatedly. So the Ice Vortex will make a difference there, but not going Chilling Touch at all is pretty indicative of a hero that just wants to play passively.
Now Vici Gaming, as the 6-minute rune will spawn. There's a bottled invis now online for maybe. Could be another death for poor Super. Finally has his boots. They're coming out on the courier. And he's going to back off to his own woods, where a nice, healthy stack is waiting. So not going to go to the way of Ice Ice Ice, who still only level 3 here bottom. At 6 minutes in, out to crack 4. They're going to give Super the farm. They want him to catch up and get more active in this game. May even do a bit of bottle crowing. Let's see, does FY look to take over mid? No, for now. Ice 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 walking directly on top of Xiaowei to get slowed. The fissure being held and blocks him. Doesn't block him fully. No, not quite. They don't have a call down yet. He's just creeps away from 6. Sylar thwarted in his effort for yet another kill. So Ice Ice Ice, he plays a bit with fire, but he doesn't get burnt.
Still, that was so dangerous. A little bit more up and Xiaowei would have been able to get that block, and that should have been a guaranteed kill on Ice Ice Ice.
It's really the way of Ice Ice Ice. If Hao is often known for being a bit over-aggressive at times, Ice 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 always pushes it to the limit in the off lane, it feels like.
Yeah, more times than not, he's successful, but this lane is so punishing. The combination of the Earthshaker plus the Rocket Barrage, easily able to chase him down, and he doesn't have the levels or farm anymore. He had a really early start that was really good, but I mean, now it's Yao that's getting a lot out of this lane. He's almost level 5 because both supports just have to rotate out.
Yeah, look how much Vici Gaming is maximizing their supports right now. FY's taking over mid. They were there to leech the stack that was cleared out by Super, and we see the PL rotate into the jungle. This used to be something that was really common when Terrorblades were on in the safe lane, just trying to get as much as they can for their supports. Called out bottom, onto Ice 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 to go. The Fissure follow-up, he didn't run away in time, and the Rocket Barrage will finish him off. LGD now finding their 4th kill of the game.
And Xiaowei, he's been the basic proponent of all 4 of those so far. They're getting so aggressive on the map with him. He doesn't even seem like he cares about his levels at this point in the game. He just relies on the ability to initiate with that Fissure, and he has so many powerful spells that can help him out. Maybe with the double Shadow Rays, you've got that Rocket Barrage that we've talked about all week, which makes Gyrocopter such a strong 1-2 punch. And in this mid lane, it looks like they do want to get aggressive. And is there a level 6 on either of the supports? No, and so this isn't going to deter LGD Gaming for very long.
They're banking on these support levels. Fenrir, 5.5. He is close to the Ice Blast Blitz, and LGD have really they've focused a lot on the mid and the off lane, but they've done nothing to slow down Fenrir, and even if he dies to this smoke gank that LGD are working on, this is a fast level 6 for a tri-lane Ancient Apparition.
I think if they bring the Shadow Fiend, what this means is they want to go for that top and then eventually go for the tower push immediately after, but they're just going to run into Vici Gaming here.
FY gets the lift off, but does he get the multiple hero stun? Yes, he does. Super off the mark with his own stun, but it allows for the retreat. They get the stacks low and maybe we'll raise it down, but it's not a big stack. As far as the creeps go, you've got some golems and ogres in here. Some of the least valuable creeps in the jungle.
It was still a smoking committed, and yeah, at the same time.
Bottom, Ice 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 again, being punished by Sylar. This feels like one of those aggressive Gyrocopter games. He hasn't actually left the lane, I guess, is the difference, but he's getting fed kills at this point.
And how often do we see Ice 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 die solo like that? It's a hero that doesn't have a stun, but must have been out of position and is chased down.
Oh,
at the
Blitz.
same time, Vici.
They just smoked. I don't know if they were spotted. The tree was kind of blocking the location that they were at, even though the Sentry Ward is just out of range. And let's see if LGD are wise to this. The Ice Blast is online. They get down the lane ward. Kind of an interesting spot for it. Unlikely to be dewarded if they put a Sentry to the north here. They also block off the Ancients. Trying to pull ahead in the economy game as well as in the kill potential. At the same moment, Familiars have arrived and they are on the scout. FY makes his move, he goes in. Does he get off the lift? There's the Ice Blast follow-up. They combo Xiaowei. He's blown up in a matter of seconds. They didn't even have to commit a Laguna. They can maybe turn on MMY. FY forced back. Familiars in pursuit. Is there any backup? He survives. He lives. And he's now level 5 and to the north. It's Fenrir. He's been caged, but he's got a haster, and Yao can't bring him down. Fenrir makes the great escape. Level 6 and change now. The supports of Vici Gaming really looking to bring this one back, Blitz. And they're keeping it reasonably close here through 10 minutes.
Yao was 1 XP away from level 6. That would have been the difference between being a kill and him running away with the haste, but great play by Vici Gaming, getting active on the map with just their 2 supports. You've got the level 6 on the Ancient Apparition, so it's really easy for them to set up kills around the map now. Super can set it up with just the Light Strike array. Vici Gaming, all they have to really do is drag this game out as long as they can, get to the late game, and just don't let LGD snowball off of these lanes. But that's easier said than done because this Gyrocopter and this Shadow Fiend are so farmed right now.
And we may see them go for that big 5-man combo. LGD have used it quite a bit. Oh, familiar stuns, catch out super mid. A little bit far to dive here. They may try to farm these things up. There's no resummon available, and that's 1. Do they get the second here? Looks like it should survive barely in the trees. What do you make of the Visage's role in this game? It's not a hero that LGD have favored much as of late, and in general hasn't been all that popular in the tournament.
I actually kind of agree with what the analyst said when they thought for a second that Vici Gaming could go aggressive tri-lane. If you get Chilling Touch plus the Phantom Lancer and the Rubik, you've got a lot of different ways to initiate the fight. They can almost never contest you. But once you take MMY, who's playing a Visage, Gyrocopter Visage Earthshaker is not going to be challenged in the safe lane. And by guaranteeing that Gyrocopter's farm, he's one of the few ways that you can deal with the Phantom Lancer in the late game. So it's almost just a pick just to kind of prevent Vici from getting aggressive. And at the same time, you can do a lot of cool tricks. The birds can go around, you can set up for kills that are unexpected, and it's really strong against the Rubik. You just set the birds on him in the fight. What can FY do about it?
He can try to steal the birds. That's what he can.
There's actually no way. I'm saying that right now, but
I have seen it once, but it really should never happen. If anyone's going to prove you wrong, Blitz, it's probably the Prince himself. Well, this top lane continues to be free farm here for Hao. Quietly staying close with the other cores, and not seeing any pressure. Looking for that next move from Vici Gaming. They've got level 6 on Fenrir. FY still trying to complete his. And they continue to just leave the cores off in the jungle, but as for LGD, it's a slightly more uneven, well, actually quite a bit more uneven farm distribution, with their 2 big frontliners getting the lion's share of the gold and experience. They now smoke. It's an offensive build for Maybe. He's gone Blink first. Not the most common build for Maybe. I think we saw it maybe once in this tournament so far, but he may find someone here. Ice, ice, ice. Oh, does he reveal the smoke? Yeah, it's actually popped on Maybe. And they're doubling back now, starting to realize.
He's there.
Oh, Fissure, is it going to hit him in time? It does, and the raise. They get him. Ice, ice, ice. He almost just got away with murder. But LGD are like, huh? Oh, there's somebody there.
That must have been so confusing for them because they know that somebody's there. They're not quite sure where. They're looking around the map, but in the end, they do get ice, 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 and this should lead to a tower push. But everybody from Vici Gaming is already set up for this. They've smoked around. And this is going to be such a crucial fight because if Vici Gaming actually win this fight, with the type of lineup that they have, where they want to drag it out to the late game, if they can take control of this fight early, they could get so much map control out of this.
And you can see Hao trying to bait them in a little bit, showing himself here in the bottom lane, and he's rather tanky. Vici go the other direction, though. They start painting out the mid lane. It looks like they want to make moves towards Sylar's current home. Not finding anything. Still waiting on that FY level 6, and it looks like he'll go back and collect it now. Finish off these creeps mid. He's got his Arcane Boots. And, well, I guess the question is, what will be his first big steal? Bottom lane, though. LGD still wanting to pressure Hao. Maybe has the DD rune, and the Sigil begins its scouting run. Ice Blast is available. Do they hold? Do they try to hold this? There's no points in back yet. Ice, 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 a bit underleveled. And there's also pressure coming from Sylar top, trying to force that Vici rotation out so they can take this tower freely.
Radiant's middle tower is
They're wasting a lot of time on it right now. Sylar, he's trying to force somebody to come top just so that they can rotate and they can take that bottom tower like you said. But Vici Gaming, they can just play the waiting game. Hao doesn't have to get over-aggressive. LGD don't have the best way to instantly initiate on him. They'll all see it coming, and you've got the Ice Blast that can always follow it up. So LGD is a little bit hesitant to go for the 5-man, but they did waste a lot of time just camping 5 heroes down there the entire time.
Sylar, FY wants the backstab. He's got the lift available. Does he use it? Or is that lift? Drums are going to come out. He's still holding it. Still holding it. Now finally going to let it fly, but it's a bit too late. Doesn't even spell steal anything. What's he going to grab here? He's been cornered. He just TPs out, tells the team to leave him for the Wolves, and he will make it home. Seemed like he was hoping for a bigger spell steal and just scrambles out and says, this gank is a failure. Let's get the hell out of here.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that he was able to survive there.
They're going to get a tower bottom, though.
Yeah, but they should get the tower top at the same time, but this is Ice, Ice, Ice with almost a fully completed mech after this tower. He's going to get the last hit, but LGD, maybe they just decide to keep going because they have both their cores up here.
Can Vici contest this? Ice Blast cooling down for 25. Only 1 point in the back. Mech isn't actually finished yet. Can they fight?
I mean, it'll be really close. The Lina has a Yule Scepter. With the Ice Blast, they can pretty much just one-shot somebody, and I think LGD are aware of that and are just going to continue to split up and farm. Their timing window is a lot bigger. They can just decide to farm out both of their major cores. But there is going to be a point where it becomes really scary because Vici Gaming, that Aghanim Scepter Lina plus the Ice Blast, we saw it in the game where they played against C9. This seems to be their bread and butter combination.
Yeah, it's deceptively strong in the late game, as you talked about. They still need a while to go here, though. Super not really farming amazingly well on the Lina. He had a rough start. He's a full 60 CS down on Maybe's gargantuan Shadow Fiend. And it keeps that window open longer. Even if at some point maybe Vici could take over, it's quite some time before they'll have the big items, barring a fight. Do they look for that fight? Mech still not finished. The split push continues from Ice, but these familiars will allow them to pressure in the mid lane, and it looks like it won't be defended blitz. This is a lot of map control that Vici are giving up, and just feels like they don't quite have the tools they need to hold.
You sort of have to just give that tower up, though, because it's incredibly hard for them to take a fight at this point in the game when you know LGD have most of the items that they need. Visage is one of those heroes that in the early game is so hard to fight against. The only way you take a fight here, oh, and actually...
Courier, he only steals the Enchant Totem, not the best for FY, but the Lina's waiting. Laguna, and straight into the heart of Xiao will pierce it and take him down. FY will pay the price, though, as Maybe finishes him off, a 1-for-1 bottom. Meanwhile, the top lane, Hao taking this moment to take a free tower, or at least it looks free until this TP happens.
Should still be able to get it, and he's going to get away. And Hao's got a surprising amount of farm, despite the fact that his team hasn't had the best map control.
Trying to snowball and getting up the hill where the Requiem's waiting for Hao. Follow-up by Sharks doesn't quite pin him in. He's got the Walrus Punch. He jumps forward. Hao is just playing around, and the Ice Blast will connect. It's on 2 instantly, down with the Tusk. Maybe also in a bit of danger here. There's a Light Strike array, but no range to make it happen. Will barely retreat. Giving Ice the time he needs. He's now completed the mech. They have forfeited 2 towers. But there's the Diffusal Blade as well. Vici Gaming keeping this game very close. I mean, considering the start LGD had, it felt like they should run away with the laning stage blitz, but they're really neck and neck here when it comes to pretty much any metric as far as gold and experience go.
And this is what Vici Gaming want. They expected to be in this position. Like we talked about, the Shadow Fiend is naturally just going to pull so far ahead of the Lina when it comes to CS. And the Gyrocopter is going to be really similar in that regard too, because the Phantom Lancer just can't flash farm, and you can't pressure as much. These are heroes that are meant to be a little bit behind in net worth, but they make up for it in items. A Phantom Lancer, when it comes to the ultra late game, can pretty much 1v3 all of LGD's non-core heroes. And it's going to be really tough for them to deal with him, as he's got a lot of farm. He's got 117 CS. He hasn't died once yet. They've taken a lot of these towers that I don't think they should have been able to. Aside from the mid tower, the top tower and the bottom tower going down means a lot of control for Vici.
Yeah, it seems like they've just kind of surprised LGD, where they show some heroes on one side of the map, they pull LGD to the other side, and then like out pops the Phantom Lancer, out comes Ice, and all of a sudden they've gotten a freebie. They've avoided the fight that it feels difficult for them to win at this stage. And then, well, another big combat item has been picked up. Maybe no mech build. He's just gone straight into the BKB, and with the Ancient Apparition in the field, he's made an adjustment here. When do they go? They've got Sylar with his own Ogre Club. Is he into BKB and then they 5-man? Is this a Sanjin Yasha and just play it slower? What's your tempo here for LGD?
I actually think that LGD should just smoke in and do Roshan. They've got this Shadow Fiend with enough levels of the presence of the Dark Lord, 3 levels of that. MMY has a Medallion of Courage. Even against the course to be able to do it.
Even against the Darkseer, you're not afraid of that triple vacuum onto the hill that we saw yesterday.
I mean, if you sneak it fast enough, Ice will show himself at bottom at some point.
Okay.
And maybe you go for a gank and then do it. It's still a little bit dangerous, but I mean, they need to make something happen. The alternative is you go for the tower bottom, but they've already demonstrated that 5-man tower pushes, Vici Gaming can hold it as long as they're in there a little bit early.
And LGD actually the team that is worried about a potential Roach. They were scouting it with the Sigil, which continues to move on to Fenrir. And by the way, Fenrir is gearing up for that later game on the Ancient Apparition. Has the Gloves of Haste. It will be a Midas build. You compare this to, say, Fate's Ancient Apparition, you see that I think this is the one hero where Fenrir will get a lot of farm priority compared to FY when he plays that AA. Here comes the smoke, though. Moving
They're
around
to get this for sure. And Super's waiting behind, but
maybe blinks in. He just goes immediately onto FY. Familiars are going to follow this one up. Can they kill him? No! The turnaround from Super disintegrates the Shadow Fiend. And even if they get these 2 kills, it's still a pretty decent exchange here going the way of Vici Gaming. That was just totally unexpected. Had the BKB and the haster and didn't see it coming.
that's 100% worth it. How's going to continue to farm. Ice continues to maintain space. 3 heroes from Vici Gaming are non-stop farming, and they lose their Shadow Fiend out of that engagement, who's their highest net worth hero. If you look at the gold change, it's only 400 in favor of LGD, and that might have just been evened out by the amount of farm that 3 cores got at the same time.
And like you said, they're not killing Hao. They're not killing Ice, who's going back for the Arcane Boots. May even see that pair of Guardian Greaves coming out relatively soon. And LGD not finding opportunities to use their BKBs. You go for double BKB, you would love to team fight. And there they do feel very strong, but it buys time. The Vacuum now level 4. It was level 2 when you mentioned the possibility of a Roshan. So the team fight potential levels up here, Blitz. Waiting on the Midas on the Ancient Apparition. And it just seems the way Vici are moving that they are so content with just nothing happening for 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, this is their game plan. Even if you trade 2 heroes for 1 at this point, if you're trading for a core, Vici Gaming are perfectly satisfied as long as it's not Hao that's dying. And Ice is getting a really good amount of farm. He's going to have a Blink Dagger at some point, and then it's going to be nearly impossible for LGD to push, even when you have that double BKB, because you can just immediately run into a trap. You get Vacuum stunned by the Lina at the same time. We saw IG execute that combo, but it was a line instead. And the Lina's even easier to do in some respects. And the Ice Blast to follow up at the same time. LGD got to be so scared right now.
How can they disrupt this rhythm that Vici have found, just pushing out the side lane, slowing the game down? They opt for a blink on the Tusk of Yao. He's gone a little bit more aggressive here. Maybe we see him go back for a pipe if the game drags. He's got the value cloak for now. And they are farming MMY. He's picked up a point booster, working towards his eggs. A decent late game hero, that support Visage. Not yet level 11 though. And it seems like they're going to settle on the bottom lane as 5 heroes move into position. FY gets the D ward though. And speaking of FY, he didn't really have a hot start, but Blitz, he's getting there. 1,300 gold. The ever so scary FY blink it's within striking distance. 1 good fight and he'll almost have it.
And there's a lot of good spells for him to steal in this game. If you can get anything from Sylar aside from the call down, or aside from the Flak Cannon, you'd want it. Maybe his Requiem. We saw him steal that from Fada a few times.
Oh, jeez.
When he was the Shadow Fiend. You can steal the Fissure potentially. The Echo Slam would be the big prize there once you get your Blink Dagger, but that might just be a little bit too greedy. Is how, I mean, he's been uncontested this entire game.
And Super as well. Super was pushing on top. He killed off a Familiar. They're just not allowing LGD to execute this 5-man Dota. Ice Blast. Just doing a bit of scouting here bottom. The TP out will come. Even though nothing's happening, and even though farm is almost even, it just feels like Vici are a puppeteer pulling LGD strings around the map.
Yeah, this is why score just doesn't simply matter in Dota. Vici Gaming can just continue to push out these waves. It's hard for LGD to get a straight initiation without committing at least 2 of their cores, because the Earthshaker doesn't have a Blink Dagger. This is the one downside to playing this hard 5-roll that Xiao8 is, where he roams around nonstop. He's not going to have a lot of time for the blink unless they just definitively win fight after fight, which they haven't been able to. And Maybe, who's been at the top of the leaderboard in net worth this entire time, is about to be overtaken by a Phantom Lancer who hasn't even joined in 1 fight yet.
And you're saying that about Hao, and it's after last game where it felt like he was looking for fights that didn't even exist. Just a much more patient approach, showing that veteran discipline, that he can come back from a rough game, not tilt, and just execute a slower pace. LGD, again, just pacing back and forth through their own side of the map, basically doing laps around their own jungle, reacting top, reacting bottom, still haven't taken on this tier 1 bottom, despite the 5-man. It's just incredible that they haven't been able to group up once. And we haven't even seen a smoke, really. They tried once, but they're reacting now. And maybe, well, he wants to get aggressive. He's going to finally just walk up the river. Not quite scouted, about to walk into a dire observer. In fact, now he is. He shows himself towards mid. Familiars do a bit of scouting. And they are also deploying Sylar bottom. But FY's here in the trees, just leeching experience, zeroing in on the dagger, not getting caught or scouted. He's given himself an observer and sentry to ensure he's safe, and they continue to pace. This time, swinging past the rotate, they just blink on the tower. They're trying to basically gank the tower before Vici can react in time. Ice Blast comes out. It hits on 2 off the bat, but they will bulldoze their way through this. Finally, LGD should be able to take it, and they will. But the Midas has been acquired on the Ancient Apparition. The Dagger is ever so close. FY 400 gold away. And Hao's pushing in the top lane. He's ratting this one out. He even is going to spear Sylar on the TPN. The circle is drawn by Xiao 8 rather, over towards the Ancients.
I mean, they take that tier 1 bottom tower, but it took them so long. They had to maneuver, reposition repeatedly, scout out everything. And meanwhile, during all of that posturing, Hao just continues to farm. And yes, Vici Gaming are still in a decent position, or LGD are in a decent position. They're 1k gold ahead. But again, we discussed it early on. The draft is meant to do that. And I think Vici are incredibly happy and surprised that they're only down by 1k.
Now, this was not a part of the script, unless Xiao 8 is looking for a very exciting turn.
Oh, they've got a Blink Dagger though, and Ice.
The rat,
get out.
Ice Shard's going to come through, not on the mark, and well, other big items of note here. Super's also got his Aghanim Scepter. Laguna, not level 3 yet, 675 damage. That's about half, in fact, it's just around half of Mavy's HP. It's over half of everybody else's except for Sylar. And you imagine that combined with an Ice Blast. It gets tough to see how they can man fight the Lina.
Yeah, this is just going to get so frustrating right now. LGD, they just keep grouping up as 3 or 4 LD, and it doesn't really feel like they know where to go from here because they want to get aggressive. But if they get over-aggressive against a team with a Phantom Lancer and an Ancient Apparition, I think they just lose the game. And so it has to be, the cores have to do a whole lot in these next fights. Like the BKB timers are still at 10 seconds, and we're talking as if Vici have already won, but LGD, they've still got 2 10-second BKBs, and they've got cores that can deal with the Phantom Lancer in the mid-game.
They're just really looking for that right time to move, and it appears it's now. They're going to get deep into the enemy woods. Fenrir backing off in the nick of time, maybe has another blink in 3 seconds. Don't tell me he dies to the base here. Hao comes in though, he gets caught out. Walrus Punch, Fissure, everything in the kitchen sink used to stuff him 6 feet under. And now LGD, at long last, they found the opening they're looking for. They're going to try to push in this top lane. They've got 2 cores up in front. The rest of the team farming up the jungle. MMI has picked up a gem here. He's still working towards the Aghanim Scepter. And he's got the next component available to be purchased. At the same moment, Ice off in the enemy jungle. He's shoved in mid. The top tower actually not dead just yet, and they're not going to go for that one. Instead, they push out the mid lane. They get the Sanji Yasha maybe. Now they Pings come out again. They've managed to find an aggressive ward here. Not up on the hill, where you'll often see it, but down towards the middle lane. And they blink forward. Again, just trying to bull rush the towers before there's reaction. Fenrir is off bottom. No level 2 Ice Blast yet, but he is closing in on it. And it looks like this one, LGD, they'll completely surround and should be able to take it down.
And finally, they're starting to get objectives, and it's the opening off of that kill on the Phantom Lancer. Vici Gaming have no interest in fighting right now, and this is going to actually mean a lot for LGD, because this will free up control of the jungle if they want it, because they've already taken the mid-tier 1 tower, and this is going to make it really hard for Vici to go for that split push they were this entire game. Like, if Hao doesn't die there, he gets away, it becomes incredibly hard for LGD to do anything, because Vici Gaming then have them pinpointed when it comes to location. Hao can just boots of travel down to that bottom lane and start to pressure that tier 2, and LGD have to continue to play reactive Dota, but with that kill and that tier 2 tower, it opens up a whole lot of options for LGD.
Xiao 8 is going to march down towards the bottom lane. If he shows himself, FY is ready to reveal him with the Blink Dagger at the ready. Could even steal the Fissure, which may be used to farm out the lane. More TPs coming in now as Yao will join him. Has a Glimmer Cape ready. Shows the Fissure. The Snowball's there. The counterplay. Look for it from FY, who leaps in to start off the fight. Now the Ice Blast onto Xiao 8, holding him in position here. Looking for the pickup. He didn't get the Fissure, though. Only the Enchant Totem. And now Baby's arrived. He erupts onto FY and wrecks him. 2 for 1 there. Does force out a 10-second BKB. But Vici Gaming hemorrhaging a couple of kills. Back to split pushing for Vici.
And this is what LGD wanted. They wanted Vici Gaming to eventually get bold and say, okay, the net worth lead probably isn't too bad if you look at the heroes. Let's try to look for these 1 or 2 hero pickoffs and slow them down and create more space for Hao. But what this is actually going to do is you're going to lose 2 heroes and you're going to give up the Roshan. Without the Ice Blast at the ready, even with the Darkseer available, LGD finally see the opportunity to Roshan. And I mean, ever since that top pickoff, it's been all LGD, and Vici Gaming, they were doing a really good job of staying off the map, but eventually it becomes too much as LGD, they take a tower, they get the Aegis, they got the kill on the Phantom Lancer, and they pick up both supports.
Are they going to hold top here? Looks like the Illusions may bring it close to deny range. Will be cleaned up in short order by Snowball, so that tier 2 does survive. How continuing just to chip away. Has gone Boots of Travel and Yasha now. Maximum split push appears to be the order of the day as he hits level 16. They can just a starkly different approach from each team. The more group up and fight from LGD, the stall and delay from Vici. Very interesting to see how this is going to turn out. For now, it's amounted to a 5,000 gold lead for LGD, and the experience really starting to go their way, up to 7,500. They will use this opportunity to smoke, and I think it is worth pointing out, they've got some aggressive wards down. Well, not super aggressive, but decent vision towards the mid and bottom. That's why he's split pushing. He's ratting as well. The whole team is starting to do it. It's tank Dota. Sylar getting an Eye of Scotty. Not opting for a more offensive item, just wants to be able to survive the combo. They're going to move towards bottom now, and another ward gets planted. Do they find anyone here?
Even if they kill FY, this is such a huge commitment for them. I think this is one of their plays where they want to try to catch somebody as they go for the split push, and then take the tower at the same time. But the lane is pushing in really rapidly, and I don't even think LGD is going to get anything out of this.
They really do want to go, though. There's the Blink Walrus punch to start off. Beautiful ice charts onto 2. It holds super position, and now maybe goes in. Where's that Laguna? It doesn't even get a single kill, but the Fac trying to counter this with the wall deployed, also ineffective. Call down will recover the path of retreat as Yao TP's home. They ambush 2, and then they just back. They won't get the objective you mentioned, Blitz, but they get 2 kills, and they get a core Lina as well.
That ward was just freshly placed, right? Meaning
yes, it was just placed.
I think Vici Gaming should have been able to see that and said, okay, there's a decent idea that LGD may be here. Like, nobody's showing on the map right now. We have ward vision in our own jungle, so they're clearly not invading that or farming it out. And so by sending 2 heroes there and going for the ward deny, it was a little bit risky. I think they got unlucky a little bit too with the uphill misses, but still, LGD, they're just finding openings around the map everywhere that are just being presented to them for free. As Vici Gaming, they played such a clean game up until this moment.
Vici Gaming are really testing LGD's map sense, and so far the moves have been the ones they needed. Now getting another mobility item here. Xiaowei with the Blink Dagger, and it puts the team on triple Blake, I believe it is, with Yao also having one, Sanjin Yashin maybe, and Familiars, which can get around the map fairly easily. So they do have a rather mobile reactionary force building up to try and keep these lanes out and to punish the split push. See Sylar stay bottom and deal with that lane. The rest of the team moving towards mid, and MMY going back to him, Blitz. He is closing in on the Ags, gets the Ogre Club now, has enough for one more component. He's very close.
It's going to be so hard right now for Vici Gaming.
Look for the combo. Look for the vac. Into the follow-up Lina stun. That's the big play here with an Ice Blast over the top.
They're going to need it right now to hold, but Ice, it looks like he does want to go in. He's surging himself forward.
He's going in rather deep, and he gets second thoughts about that. Good positioning here from LGD, just no real opening.
I think LGD also realized what we have, which is we don't want to get hit by that vacuum Ice Blast. Look how far spread their cores are even.
Oh, they're going in. Walrus punch on the Ice. The Ice Shard's not quite trapping him in. He will scurry away, and Hao finally connects on that tier 2 top. Meanwhile, FY being scouted by the Familiars as he'll retreat out. They continue to play the split push game here, but it's a double Eye of Scotty. Maximum just tank for LGD, getting very beefy. And now all of a sudden the Laguna Blade, it's about to be 950, but even so, it's only like a third of the health of Maybe, and around the same for the Gyrocopter.
Oh yeah, I was actually going to find Super here.
This could be another pick-off Super. Ghost Scepter not going to save him. LGD strike again. Continuing to just find pickoffs and map control, increasingly putting Vici Gaming back into their base. They're going to scramble down towards the bottom side of the map, but LGD, they may just walk back towards this bottom lane and go for tier 2. Let's see. Where do they want to go?
I think LGD, especially with Super down, they know that the Ice Blast plus Aghanim Scepter Lina Laguna Blade is on cooldown, and this is going to make their cores feel incredibly safe. They've got the Aegis.
He just can't find the fissure.
I think you just keep going. You're so tanky.
Oh, Xiaowei is getting harassed, though. The back combo. There's the Ice Blast onto Maybe. Maybe in a lot of danger. The Glimmer Cape trying to keep him alive. His own illusion bringing him ever so low. And he still has the Aegis, though, and it was set to expire fairly soon, I believe. He is going to BKB here in the end. In fact, Aegis now reclaimed. Well, that was just an awkward timing where if he doesn't BKB and then he dies as the Aegis expires, he's really going to regret it.
I think he would have survived, though.
Yeah, it was close. I guess he was worried about a backstab of some kind.
Yeah, but Vici Gaming, they show the strength of their combination. If there was a Lina right there, BKB or no BKB, that Shadow Fiend 100% would have been dead. And then from there, Vici can take that 4v5 fight with the Phantom Lancer, and that's what they're going for every single time with this combination. It's not meant to catch multiple heroes. It's great if you do. If you don't, it's just meant to disrupt one hero out of the fight, and then Vici Gaming can play the numbers game.
LGD have backed off now. They retreat to their own side of the map. The Ice Blast thrown in rather aggressively. Fenrir just trying to keep these lanes out as much as possible. We'll see FY building towards potential 4-staff for Yule Scepter here. Gets his Staff of Wizardry. But Sylar's got another item, and this dual core of LGD continues to top the net worth charts. They're keeping up in the farm department. 3,600. What is he going to pick up next? We'll see. Meanwhile, maybe up to 1,700 of his own. What's he got here? Nothing else.
So Sylar just continues to farm out. He's got 3,600 gold. I actually think this was the correct build for him, going for the Scotty. You don't want to be able to get one shot, but it was even yesterday we saw, or 2 days ago we saw the C9 Vici game. It didn't really matter how much HP you had. The combination still blows you up every single time, and so he might just opt to say, okay, well, I can't survive against that combo, but hopefully it goes on the Shadow Fiend instead, and I'll just get a Butterfly so I can fight the Phantom Lancer.
And it is worth just keeping an eye on these BKB durations here. Maybe this is down to 7. Still a very healthy 9 on Sylar. So they'll have a few more fights where they have long-term magic resistance. Yeah, there is the Laguna. You can still shatter through the BKB, but they're still fairly durable here. They've got a lot of fighting power. Vici move again into the LGD jungle. Top lane, though, the counter to the rat play, it may be these familiars blitz, which, well, while they don't have a Drought or Lycanhow, they are still able to keep the lanes out a bit.
Yeah, and it's fairly significant that now MMY has that triple stun for the birds. That Aghanim Scepter, that's a really good timing for it. It means that he can finally go for something like the Solar Crest, and going high ground becomes even easier, but they're going to need an Aegis at bare minimum if you're LGD.
That's a good point. And the other thing is, I mean, who's really going to be building an MKB here for Vici? How, maybe? Generally not the best PL item, but Evasion could be something that throws a wrench into the Vici Gaming plans. Ice, going plate mail. Looks like Shiva's will be the pickup for him as well. So, more to combo with the big AoE. And now the Demon Edge for Sylar. Looks like he may get rid of his Drum of Endurance here. So with that, MKB, maybe Daedalus, next on the list. Maybe Rapier.
I think MKB is almost certain, unless you want to go for something incredibly YOLO.
If he gets the next Aegis, do you think he can get away with a Rapier? Or is that too risky and unnecessary here?
He could, because nobody from Vici really does exceedingly well with the Rapier. Like maybe the Phantom Lancer, but it would be so risky for him to do it. I don't think that he lives with himself if he loses it and they lose the game as a result of it.
A man can dream.
No, there's no way. He just goes for the MKB.
I hope he gets it now, just because you said there's no way.
He bought it already.
All right.
The Phantom, oh, they're actually smoked up for this.
They're moving in. LGD in a very good position here, though. It looks like maybe the one up in front. He'll take an initial lance, blinks back instantly. They do show the PL, but that's not the hero that LGD are worried about. They're searching for the combo. Fenrir sitting back, the tower already down. Denied by Hao. Nice little play for him. Do they initiate? Vici really thinking about it. They're going to surge, but they still don't commit. It's FY who starts to dump onto Sylar. Now the Ice Blast coming in the back, and he will almost instantly drop to half HP, but can they finish him up? Laguna will end him. The counter echo from Xiaowei, but it's all, well, 3 already dead here for Vici. Requiem going to turn this. They haven't dealt with the Shadow Fiend just yet, and now Xiaowei also going to fall. They get 1 core, but can they deal with the others? Hao now arriving and trying to turn it, but he's been forced back. At the same time, Illusions bringing MMY low, and trapped on the trees is super. 1 little chop of the Tusk Cleaver will finish him off, and the only man to survive is Hao. And they got that first kill so easily, Blitz, but the follow-up just wasn't there.
When you lose your gyrocopter almost instantly, that's what Vici Gaming were trying to play for, but at the same time, maybe it just goes in for the back lines, and they just snipe hero after hero, and that Aghanim Scepter Visage did so much work in that fight. Maybe he was just a monster. They couldn't even really touch him, and at the same time, Hao, he's tanky, but he doesn't do the damage necessary to really follow up in the fights, and that's even without the gyrocopter being there. Like, he's not even very threatened. He just doesn't do any damage, and LGD, they pretty much just ignored him the entire fight and killed everybody else.
Yeah, you mentioned the possibility that Hao could just come and clean up the 3 supports, so to speak, but they're getting pretty tanky just through sheer levels. You've got Xiaowei walking around with a lot of control, a blink, and now almost 1,400 HP. The Tusk of Yao sitting on 1,300 with a Shadow Blade as well as a Blink Cloak, so he's also tanky up. And then that's not even talking about MMY, who's got, well, when the Gravekeeper's Cloak is in full effect, 33 armor, so almost impenetrable at first, and quite healthy in the HP department too. These supports, quote unquote, are just, they're tanky. They're not easy takedowns.
Yeah, and LGD know that the next Roshan is up, and this might be what they need to go high ground. They're going to feel really comfortable with how that last fight went, and they might think to themselves, okay, as long as we get an Aegis on the Gyrocopter, there's almost no way that they can instantly burst us.
Vici are smoking again. This time they're just barreling down the bottom lane. Hao has the heart, and he's the man who wants to initiate here, it looks like. LGD swinging through the trees, and Ice. Oh, he's in front. He's got to be careful not to get caught. He surges, and he jumps forward. Ice Blast coming in. They saw this coming, the back follow, but Sylar's already BKB'd, and he just starts pummeling Vici Gaming. 2 dead off the bat. The combo a complete failure.
Down here too.
And the Urn Charge tracking him out. He's got a Yule's available. Whiffs on the stun, dunked as punishment for his failure.
The lane's even pushed up too, so LGD off the back of this are just going to go for the racks right now.
No buybacks here. Ice Blast cooling down in 15, but they're also durable. And they've still got no vac available, or rather no wall. They'll try to go in. Ice will be forced to buy back. This is going to put a huge dent into the Vici Gaming economy. Hao in danger of not being able to have a chance at a repeat. Xiaowei looking for his. Well, out comes the Ice Blast again. It will connect. There's the back onto 2. Bring Xiaowei down fairly low. Doesn't look like he should die just to this. There's no Aghanim Scepter yet. No follow-up available. And they force out the buyback. They win the initial fight. Now they rotate. And they go right into Roche. They've got the Daedalus up on maybe. The Familiars are here. LGD with this Aegis Blitz. This will be one of the hardest defenses Vici Gaming have ever had to muster.
They couldn't even kill Sylar in that fight. Maybe, I think even after the combo of the Vacuum plus the Ice Blast, he's left with something like 1,500 HP. With the Laguna Blade follow-up, yeah, you might be able to kill the Shadow Fiend, but there's no way that you can deal with him during that time where he is BKB'd and alive. And Sylar, with that Aegis, he does so much damage. He has a fully completed MKB. MMY has that Solar Crest. Like we talked about, nobody from Vici Gaming can afford to go for an MKB.
Maybe Hao goes towards one, but he's still a ways off of it as Yao hunts. Oh, that flight blink away. He actually force-steps himself forward. Realizes there's a potential kill, but it's Fenrir who's left to the Wolves, and he'll go down again. You know, the other big thing for me, Blitz, and we haven't talked about it too much, FY has not been able to steal Fissure. Imagine how good that would be with the Vacuum. Every time he's gone for the spell steal in Xiaowei, it's just an enchant totem he's gotten. This is not what you're used to seeing from the FY Rubik. Just great defensive support play from Xiaowei.
Yeah, and he hasn't had a lot of opportunities as Xiaowei. I mean, he sits so far back. The Rubik's only level 12. He doesn't have something like that.
They're going in. They're trying to engage onto Sylar. Has the Aegis. Do they want to commit for this? No.
Oh,
Super. He hesitates and he dies for nothing.
He has no buyback now, too.
Sylar just going to walk away, still with 2 lives. They earn him up. They've already taken down the tower. They're going for the mid lane of Rags. They may even rotate on bottom here. There's no buyback, as you mentioned. Sylar doesn't even die a single time. Now the Blink Walrus, FY down as well. The Prince has fallen, and Ice will be next. Destroyed again by Maybe, who just rushes forward for the second lane of Rags. LGD, it's 1 Ice Blast. And they will pop the Aegis with that, but there's just no follow-up. There's no wall available. The buybacks aren't there. Vici are in danger of being eliminated and denied what could have been a huge match versus EG. LGD, they can smell it. They can taste it. This game is in their hands, and they now lead by 20,000 gold, close to 30,000 experience. But again, the jump.
How doesn't that buyback either?
Now it's dead for him as well. The PL down, 4 dead, 0 buybacks, 2 lanes of Brax. Vici Gaming tap out, and it's LGD who hang on. The streak ends here. Vici Gaming were undefeated coming into this series. They won that game 1, but it's LGD who hung on to take it. And Xiaowei will be the last man with a chance to repeat here at the International.
I mean, through the stretch, LGD was just a little bit more disciplined than Vici Gaming. And Vici Gaming, they had a really clear-cut, concise game plan, but eventually it falls apart, and LGD lay on the pressure over and over again.